Good morning and welcome to the Daily Light Devotion. I hope all of you have had a wonderful Friday and looking forward to the weekend. I'm recording for the 31st of January, the last day of the first month of 2026. And I hope you've had a wonderful first month, and looking forward to the second month that starts tomorrow. Today we're going to look at Exodus chapter 25 and 26, seeing Jesus from the Old Testament as we're carrying out, going through the Bible throughout the year. And in the New Testament, we look at Matthew chapter 21, verses 1 to 22, right? And the theme is God's dwelling with his people in the Old Testament, that is Exodus 25 and 26. It marks a very powerful shift. God is no longer speaking from the trembling of the mountain. He now speaks about a dwelling place, right? Let them make me a sanctuary, and that I may dwell among them. So in Exodus 25, verse 8 says that God reveals his heart. God longs to live among his redeemed people. And in every detail of the tabernacle, we clearly see Jesus. So in Exodus 25, God invites the willing hearts to give. The tabernacle is not built by force, but by generous response of his people, right? Every item is designed by God. So Jesus is the God dwelling with us, right? The Word became flesh and dwelt amongst us. John 1:14. So God always initiates relationship. He comes forward, right? We can see the Ark of the Covenant, which he decided. Inside the Ark, the tablets of law were given. Above the ark, there was a mercy seat. Blood would be sprinkled over the mercy seat. Mercy covers the law, right? So Jesus is our mercy seat, and God presented Christ as a sacrifice of atonement. In Romans 3:25 says that. So in Jesus, mercy triumphs over judgment. Now the table and the lampstand. The table of the showbread represents provision. The lampstand represents light. Together they reveal God's care and guidance. Right? Jesus declares, I am the bread of life. I am the light of the world. John 6:35 and John 8:12. Jesus sustains us and guides us daily. In Exodus 26, we see the tabernacle curtains separate holy place. The veil restricts access. Only priest may enter. God is near, yet access is limited. At the death of Jesus, the veil was torn. The curtain of the temple was torn into two. Matthew chapter 27, verse 51. Jesus opens the way for God's presence. So God's dwelling is intentional and beautiful. Every measurement matters. Every color is intentional. Every layer reflects holiness. And God values order and beauty. Jesus prepares a place for us. I go to prepare a place for you. John 14:2. So God's presence is prepared, and it's not accidental at all. So what are some of the key takeaways from these two chapters? God desires to dwell with his people. The tabernacle points to Jesus. Mercy covers the law. Jesus is our bread and light, and access to God is now open. In Matthew chapter 21, verses 21 to 22, the theme is the king who comes with authority and calls for fruit. This chapter, these verses open the final week. Actually, chapter 21 is about the final week of Jesus' earthly ministry. Jesus enters Jerusalem publicly as a king. They proclaim him as a king. Crowds celebrate. The religious systems are challenged, and a victory is judged. These moments reveal a strong kingdom truth. Jesus is the king, but he looks for genuine fruit, not empty praise. And every scene we clearly in these verses we see Jesus. Right? Jesus enters Jerusalem riding a donkey. This fulfills the prophecy. See in Zechariah 9:9. It says, see, your king comes to you, gentle, riding on a donkey. The crowd shouts, Hosanna. They expect a political savior. But Jesus comes in humility, not force, right? Though he was rich, yet he, for your sake, became poor. 2 Corinthians 8:9. Jesus is king, but not the kind of people expect, right? Verses 12 to 13, Jesus enters the temple, drives out the merchants. He says, "My house shall be called a house of prayer." Jesus confronts corruption and hypocrisy. Jesus' desires for true worship, pure worship. Worship the Father in spirit and truth in John 4:24. Jesus cleanses what he intends to fill. And Matthew 21, verses 14 to 16. Children praise Jesus in the temple. Religious leaders are offended, and God delights in sincere praise. So Jesus welcomes childlike faith. Our out of the mouths of infants you have ordained praise. Psalms 8:2 says that. True praise flows from humility, not status. Verses 18 to 19, Jesus curses a fig tree with leaves but no fruit. It looks alive but produces nothing. This is a warning against the outward religion without inward transformation. And Jesus looks for fruit in our lives. But by their fruits you will recognize them. Matthew 7:16. Appearance without fruit does not honor God, right? Verses 20, 21 and 22, the disciples are amazed. Jesus teaches about faith and prayer. Faith connects us to God's power, right? Jesus invites us into the confident faith. If you believe, you will receive. Matthew 21:22. Faith is not about words, it's about trust. So, what are some of the key takeaways from the New Testament? Jesus is the humble king. Authority flows from obedience. God's desire is pure worship. Praise must be sincere. Faith produces fruit, right? I want to encourage you, these verses, Jesus is not impressed by noise, but by obedience. He welcomes praise, but he also examines the heart. And I want to leave you with this, that may our lives bear fruit worthy for our King. So I want to leave you with that, and have a wonderful Saturday. I will see you tomorrow.